What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Creditcast. Each week, three guys each bring a topic up to discussion and see where it takes us.
Are you assuming my gender?
I am.
Okay.
But we already know it. It's not like we're assuming, unless shit changed overnight.
I mean, I've seen some things flapping in the breeze, so.
I think that's a lie.
I don't. I'd like to hear that story. Hold on, story time. Story time.
If I remembered it, I'd tell you, but I don't.
Is that a scene that you tried to block out of your memories?
There are some of our friends that I have seen flapping in the breeze, and it was pretty terrifying. But
no. I was not one of those friends.
Yeah, I don't need to know what's going on here. If it's not Chris, I don't care.
I was on a beach. Things got weird. Yeah.
Dicks got sucked?
No.
Bitches got fucked?
No.
Wow, like nothing.
No.
You just saw flapping.
Some dude just decided to take his pants off and start booking. Pretty much. Chris knows the story. He knows what I'm talking about.
I don't know what he's talking about. He's on an island here.
A person we know that eventually joined the Marine Corps. So.
Is he? Yeah, we'll figure this out later.
Yeah, whatever. You, sir, have a story to tell us first, though.
What kind of story?
A story that involves an injury.
Oh shit! Yeah, my thumb. I hurt my thumb. I'll give you a couple guesses as to how I injured my thumb last night. I've said to you before, Fred. I haven't talked to you about this, Chris. It is an unorthodox method of injury.
Yeah.
I'll give you a couple guesses, but I did tell you there's literally zero chance in hell that you're guessing this.
You went to go clean the sink.
Wrong.
Caught it on the edge.
I'll give you a hint that I injured my thumb in my bedroom.
You were already
last
home.
night. I was already home last night. I'm surprised I didn't wake you up. Because I was pretty loud when it happened.
You were rubbing it out, and your nail got caught on the foreskin and ripped it off.
That could not be more wrong.
Okay.
One, I wasn't doing that. Two, I'm not sure if I'm going to get into that.
Yeah, we all can.
Yeah, let's leave that up to the imagination, right? And no, do you have any possible guesses as to how I hurt my thumb last night?
I'm not going to touch on the subject.
So last night, I got home. I worked a closing shift, as I do at the store, 3 nights in a row. So last night I was excited. I was like, oh man, I finally have the next day off after having these long days like on schedule. And I was unwinding, getting ready for bed. Went to go take off my sock and split my nail open.
No, how?
Yeah, I swear. My guess, I'm assuming that since I do a lot of washing dishes and my hands are always wet and stuff, I'm guessing my nail was just super soft. So I went to go take off my sock and my finger slipped, and I guess it caught against the fabric and ripped my nail.
No.
Yeah. Now I can't play Rocket League.
That's it, yeah. Now you told us you can't play Rocket League.
It hurts like a bitch.
I think that's a lie. You can play Rocket League still.
And especially because right now you're in a retraining period.
Yeah, I changed my controls in Rocket League, so like everything's been all wonky, and now it doesn't even matter because I can't play anyway.
Yeah. It's
depressing.
I'm sorry. Well, first topic of the day, I guess.
Is you, my friend. What is it?
Wow, you're just going to cut me off and steal my words. Thank you.
You're welcome.
What qualifies something to be the greatest of all time?
Not be you.
What kind of context are we talking? Because we can have different criteria for different things.
So let's pick a medium. How about that?
Ooh. Do we want a medium with a lot of history? Like books, say?
Books?
Perhaps thoughts?
Music?
Some of the greatest thoughts of all time?
That would be an interesting conversation. We'll
save that for a topic for a later day.
Are we going to talk games?
I would say games or movies.
Games or movies.
Well, I guess we can just speak on it in a general sense.
Well, but it's hard because different, like, gameplay is the only, criteria for games that isn't in anything else, and, like,
True.
graphics is there too, like, it's strange.
Yeah. So I'm gonna vote on movies.
So movies, so what counts as, the greatest movies of all time?
Yeah. So.
Okay.
I gotta start with, obviously, the cast.
Okay. I'm gonna hear you out. Go ahead.
So.
Wait. So are we talking about what makes a movie the best movie ever, or what makes something the best? 'Cause that's two very different things.
Well, I guess since we've narrowed it to movies, it has to be what makes the best movie of all
Okay,
time.
because this is a completely different topic, but I'm okay with it.
Okay.
Okay, what makes movies the best movies of all time?
Yeah. Number one's got to be the cast.
Well, no, first we got to start here. What's your favorite movie of all time? What's the best?
I don't know. There's too many.
Well, now here's the real question:
Step Brothers.
Is your favorite movie and the best movie the same thing?
No.
No. Not even close. Because I can, in my mind, picture one of what I think is the best movies of all time, and I know neither of you have seen it.
What movie?
The Revenant.
It's on my hard drive. Just haven't gotten around to it.
It is nowhere near my favorite movie of all time.
But it's one of the best.
I believe so.
So what's your favorite movie next to that? Then to stand it up as an example next to The Revenant.
Probably Captain America 2, just out of pure.
Yeah, it's definitely
Fred.
not the best movie ever, I guess.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite movie?
My favorite movie of all time is probably Step Brothers. Probably.
That's not the best movie.
Probably. It might be the best movie it might be the best movie ever made.
And then my favorite movie is the original Red Dawn, so...
Give it a
Shout out
to Swayze.
Of course.
Of course.
See, but that's got to be one of the best movies ever, for real.
That's like...
So, it's Patrick Swayze.
That's like the most Chris answer of all time.
Yeah, it is.
Red Dawn.
Red Dawn.
But first of all, it's got to be the cast. If the movie doesn't have the right cast, I don't think Steve Carell could not pull the Revenant off.
You don't know that though.
I think I do.
Okay.
Yeah. So name a movie with a crappy cast in it.
Well, my thing about it is it the most star-studded cast, or is it the right person for the right role from the right writer?
I don't think it has to be star-studded. I think there's a lot of
Because one of my favorite movies of all time is Chronicle.
Yeah.
And that was before either of the three main characters in the movie had any other major big role.
True.
So Michael B. Jordan, that was one of his early big roles.
Yeah.
Same with Dane DeHaan, who's gonna be in the new Valerian movie, whatever this is.
Sure.
He was Harry in the Spider-Man reboot. So all of that stuff happened after Chronicle. None of these guys I heard of before that movie. And that's one of my favorite movies of all time, with one of, I feel like, the best, I feel like the characters that were written and the characters that made it into the final movie are the same people.
Okay.
And the writing really speaks for itself, and then the actors take it another step forward. And so when you say the cast, I'm like, ooh, what does that actually mean by the right cast?
I don't think it's star-studded, because there's a lot of star-studded movies that suck.
Mm-hmm.
Any of the ladder of the Hangovers.
They're not stars, really, though. Bradley Cooper is, but...
For comedy, though.
Bradley Cooper, but even then, when you go to Ed Helms, he was on TV before, but he wasn't a big TV actor.
And what's the other guy's name?
Actor.
He wasn't a big actor before...
Zach Galifianakis, he wasn't very big either.
Until those movies came
out. And then
Doug,
Doug was just Doug.
Yeah, that's true.
They weren't stars until after Hangover.
Good point.
I just feel like I need to watch the Chronicle now.
I mean, I have it literally right here. I'm holding it in my hands.
I've never watched it.
Really?
Me either.
I fucking love that movie.
But
it's fantastic.
The main point for me...
So if a cast doesn't make the movie, what does make a movie?
I was about to say that, bitch.
Oh, I'm asking.
Yeah, I'm waiting for him to finish. We're discussing this segment by segment.
For me, it's the immersion. I need to be immersed into a movie, even if I can't really think of myself as in that place. I can't think of myself as a fur trapper in colonial times when my son gets murdered in front of me.
Is that what?
That's what Revenant's
Okay.
about.
Okay.
I had no idea.
I didn't know what this was. You're just throwing shit out there. Like, I don't know.
I don't know how it is to be Daisy Ridley becoming a Jedi.
Oh man, she's hot though. That's Bae. Like for real.
Or
Rey is Bae.
Yeah. Or how to be anybody in a zombie movie.
So what are you being immersed in? Are you being immersed in the movie, the world, the characters, what?
Particularly the story.
The story?
Yep.
Because my thing is, when you talk about immersion, it's not really a thing for me with movies. Because what I need to do is I need to be invested in the characters. If I don't care about the characters, the movie is not going to be interesting to me at all.
Yeah.
So like almost any action movie, I'm not going to watch it, don't fucking care, because the characters don't matter. Like, if you can't make me either sympathize or empathize with the characters on screen, then, like, it's just not going to work. Which is why movies are tough for me to watch, because it's really hard for me to be invested in a character after seeing them on screen for 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Whereas something like The Last of Us, which is very movie-like in games, like, I was, Joel and Ellie are together for the entire 14 hours of the game, pretty much.
Yeah. What do you think, Chris?
I'm trying to decide if immersion or invested is more important.
Well, it's hard for me to be invested in a movie because most movies are one-offs.
Yeah.
So
and that's why, like, that's generally why I don't watch many movies.
So I guess that begs a side question: Does having sequels make it a better overall product? So is by default Fury or Fate of the Furious got a better chance at being a good movie because of being invested in the characters?
I think it makes it harder for that to be a better movie because people have higher expectations for the characters.
Well, yeah, the people have higher expectations.
Yeah, but that's for okay, so I agree, but I think that's for movie 2. When you're at movie 8, so Marvel or Fast and the Furious or Harry Potter or...
It takes one mess up to ruin a series for somebody.
Yeah.
So,
if you've got one bad movie or one movie in some situations, like...
So do you think if they would have released an Harry Potter and... Wait, no, I got a better one for you. Transformers still blows the box office out of water every single time the movie comes out. And everybody wholeheartedly almost agrees that they're terrible movies. I think they're fine, personally. But most people I've asked would say it's a terrible movie. And it still blows the numbers out.
It's because they're not going for the characters. We're talking about the characters. They go for the action. They go for seeing big stuff blow up.
Okay.
That's a completely different argument.
Okay, I'm just saying, I think that... Okay, so...
Because think about it like this. The last DC movie that came out that people, even had a warm reception to, on a big scale...
The Dark Knight.
...was The Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah.
Or Returns.
Returns.
No, The Dark Knight Rises. Dark
2?
Knight Returns is... That's comic. That's old.
Okay.
Well, yeah, it's The Dark Knight.
Dark Knight Rises, remember? Yeah, so...
Because Bane breaks his back.
Yeah, like that was the last DC movie that people generally had a warm reception to. Everything else since then has been lukewarm at best, and they still dominate the box office.
I was about to say, I think
those are two completely different arguments.
Man of Steel was probably the highest afterwards.
No.
Really?
Man of Steel was garbage, people said. Remember how much fun they made of Superman being in handcuffs?
Yeah. I mean, but...
I didn't have a problem with that.
Yeah, because he just goes, think, and then...
It's the same thing with...
But everybody was getting mad at it. They hadn't even seen the movie yet, remember? They were talking about it before.
See, now you're talking about stuff that people see before the movie comes out.
In trailers, But generally, people didn't like BVS. And then people despised Suicide Squad.
The movie was so bad.
So, I mean, really, what's left at that point?
I think going back to that, now I'm really curious. Man of Steel was the worst out of the three.
Oh no!
No.
Oh no!
For me,
Not
it was
even
it's
close.
got to be the best.
Yeah.
It's got to be the best.
What?
Yeah.
Over BVS and Suicide Squad?
Yes.
Suicide Squad was the worst.
BVS was the best.
Oh, you're high. When was the last time you smoked
Martha!
crack? When was the last time you smoked crack? Be honest.
Never.
Be honest.
Never. BVS was the best though. I'm not saying it was good. It was the best. It had Batman.
It didn't have any. All I can say is that Man of Steel didn't have any Martha scenes.
Yeah. So.
I mean, it was cringe, but it didn't ruin the whole movie.
But think about it. How many honestly like cringeworthy scenes were in Man of Steel, and how many were in BVS?
Oh, you have to go rewatch
and how
it.
many were in BVS?
I have to go rewatch it.
Because you and I, within the first 7 seconds of watching BVS, we were just like,
Rise, bats.
no, this is fucking insane. This is fucking insane.
I remember us looking at each other and going, what?
Like, there's no idea they're doing this to me right now.
The only scene in the movie in Man of Steel that I can think of that made me like, ah, come on, really? And that was the one of the last scenes when he kills Zod.
Really? You didn't like that?
No.
I thought it was fine. I felt like that was all he could do in that situation.
No, like I understood,
And that's why I'm like, I'm fine with that.
I understood the necessity of it. I liked the scene in general. It was just the way it was portrayed. Like, I don't know, hapless Superman is really weird
Man of
to
Steel
see.
was garbage, though.
Whatever. We are way off track at this point.
Who cares? Are we really like expected to stay on topic the whole time?
Not really, no. But
Is that how podcasts generally work?
meh.
Nah.
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 We try and then we just say fuck it.
Any other points though that would make a movie the greatest of all time?
So we've got so far the cast
Yep.
The immersion and the
in the investment, the
investment.
emotional
That's the word I
investment.
can't think of.
Other things, we'll see. Like then you get into different genres. So like how funny is a movie? Like that's not really gonna matter if it's a serious movie or if it's a drama. Maybe if you've got like one line here and there to like lighten things up, like but that's not as good. That's not gonna be as emphasized. I don't even think the story really matters. Probably.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Really, like you brought up Captain America. The story for Captain America, I love that fucking movie. Not all that great.
True.
Like none of the Marvel movies have a great story.
Yeah.
But like we haven't walked away from one going, ah. Maybe Avengers 2.
No, you have, though. You tell us
No,
that Thor is garbage, Thor 2 is garbage, that Captain America 1 is garbage. So you've left a moment
you're
going,
right.
oh.
No, because I didn't even watch those. I didn't even go to see those movies.
But you haven't watched them yet.
I've watched bits and pieces.
See, but
they're bad enough that I don't feel like
that's
finishing
the same
the movie.
thing about talking about the people whose Man of Steel when he is in handcuffs is totally dumb. But then you go, well, he clinks out of them, so that's fine. That's a good reason.
No. Not the fact that he clinks out is a good reason. I don't have a problem with the fact that he's in handcuffs because he's going, I'm doing this for you.
Yeah, but you wouldn't know that if you didn't watch the whole movie.
Yeah. All I would have to do is read Wikipedia.
Not for sure.
Yeah.
I'll pull up their Wikipedia right now.
And if it's not there, then it doesn't matter enough.
Yeah, it does.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it does.
Because if you look up Thor 2, then the entire part of the movie that matters is there. Like all of the parts of the movie.
But you don't know that.
I do know that.
You haven't watched Thor 2?
So what wouldn't be in the movie that's important enough that should be put into the plot?
Go watch the movie and let us know.
You really want me to waste 4.5 hours of my life?
It's not 4.5 hours.
All three of them, he has to
For,
watch.
for the three
Okay.
movies.
Pick one.
I'm not wasting my time.
Yeah, I can say you can skip Captain America because it's literally the Captain America coming to be story. Like,
And it's great.
Which is fucking boring. I think the problem with it, again, is that Captain America, I think he's the most boring fucking character of all time.
personal opinion.
Second most boring fucking character of all time. Besides Hal Jordan.
Oh, come on.
Hal Jordan is so fucking boring. He'd be more interesting character as an Air Force pilot.
Damn.
than as Green Lantern. That
So-
would be more interesting
so
in the DC universe.
The other Green Lanterns are okay.
No, they're all bad too. It's just I'm picking on Hal because he's Hal.
Guy Gardner has a good story.
But it's the character like the character of the Lantern. It's just so fucking boring. Oh, I've got a hammer. Oh, now I've turned it into a bulldozer. Like no,
It gets deeper.
That shit is so corny.
What about Alan
The
Scott?
Spectrum
That
Wars.
shit is so corny.
What about Alan Scott?
It's fucking corny.
John Stewart?
John
fucking
Stewart.
corny.
Kyle Rayner?
Yep.
Simon Baz?
John Stewart is cool because he's black. Hal
Jeff-
Jordan is cool because he hates Batman. Other than that, like,
Kyle Rayner becomes the White Lantern.
which is still fucking boring.
Get the fuck out of here.
Still fucking boring.
What about Jessica Cruz?
Doesn't matter.
Never even heard of her. All I gotta say is Blackest Night and the Spectrum Wars. Like, those two storylines alone.
Shit's boring as fuck.
They bring Aquaman, Soups as a lantern.
Fucking boring.
Get the hell out of here, man. Like, you...
Out of real curiosity, and to go even more off topic, while looking up these different Green Lanterns, Jessica Cruz is one of the ones from the New 52. Jessica Cruz and her friends are on a hunting trip when they accidentally stumble across two men burying a body. The men brutally murder her friends. Jessica manages to escape, but is left traumatized. The Ring of Voltum, which feeds off fear and had abandoned Power Ring after his death during the crime syndicate's incursion to Prime Earth, is able to locate her due to her trauma. Unlike the previous ring bearer, she does not willingly accept the ring, but is forced to accept it. The ring tortures Jessica with physical and psychological pain.
Why are we listening to this?
I don't know. He got in his reading voice again,
Yeah,
too.
he got into the reading voice. I didn't like it.
And that isn't even a Green Lantern, though. It's a Yellow Ring, from what you were reading. So,
She's classified as a Green Lantern.
I don't know. Fear-based rings are yellow. Just saying. But
Go to Wikipedia.
Well, Wikipedia's not always right.
That's right for this one. She's a Green Lantern.
I'd say we can get over that stigma.
I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm saying there are times that it isn't right.
Name a situation.
Right there.
Okay, name another verifiable situation.
I don't know.
She's a
I
Green
haven't found
Lantern.
many, but I'm just saying there's got to be another instance where Wikipedia's
Okay,
not
well
right.
now we have to Google Ring of Voltum for you. Voltum, I'm sorry.
Oh my god. Why Pharaoh's gonna kill us? Because we're getting deeper into the Green Lanterns than he wants to. Shout out to Atrocitus, the leader of the Red Lanterns. He's dope. He can vomit plasma on people.
You ready to play as him in Injustice 2?
I'm looking forward to it, actually.
Where were we looking at the cast the other night?
It's out of hand.
This shit's
Cheetah?
like why you gotta have she's so fucking irrelevant.
Scarecrow?
Ooh, it is an evil ring that draws its power from its owner. Killing them from the inside out has been considered the opposite of a Green Lantern ring. I still think it's a Green Lantern, though.
Whatever. But, yeah, Swamp Thing?
Oh, Hal Jordan had possession of it for a little while.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
is the... Okay, so it's technically a green ring, but it's a green ring that is infected by parallax. So it serves as the yellow ring's purpose.
What did he just say?
Get out of
He
here.
told you to go fuck yourself.
Okay, are we?
I don't know, are we?
I'm done.
I think we just went nowhere on that
done.
topic.
Okay.
I'm literally done. I don't have
Whatever.
time for you people anymore.
Revenant's the best movie of all time, period. So that's...
I don't think we discussed that topic at all.
Nope, but I'm throwing it
Nope.
out there. What you got, Pharaoh?
I want to talk about what should and should not be taught in schools.
In schools.
So what I mean by that is, in America, we've got for the most part we've got public schools, private schools. I'm not talking about private schools. Private schools, y'all can do whatever the fuck y'all want to do. For the most part, I'm talking about the public school system, which varies from county to county or city to city, depending on where you are depending on where you are in the country. But it's usually generally up to the counties or cities.
At this point,
Or states.
the
What state has?
well, the 30
Well,
there's 30
state standardized testing.
Yeah, they have standardized testing, but like they don't oversee, like they don't oversee everything. Like here,
Yeah.
Everything's done by the county, and then we have state standardized testing outside of that.
I guess the only reason I say that it matters by state, because you could say that in the last decade you've seen the focus shift from education to standardized, to learning how to pass a standardized
Common
test.
Core.
So that if a state is setting a standardized test, the county is most likely setting a curriculum to fulfill those specific requirements and only those specific requirements. So unintentionally or intentionally, the state is directing far more than it may seem on the surface.
I can see that logic. But I wanted to talk about this because I was at work thinking about just like how my brothers are learning. They're younger. They're going to they're going to public schools in a different area of the state, and they're learning very similar things, but very different things. And the classes that, like, my brother right now, he's going into 11th grade next year.
Yeah.
And like the different classes that his counselors are recommending that he takes, I'm not sure that anybody should have to take for any reason at all.
Give us an example.
Trigonometry
What's wrong
is a
with
huge
trig?
example. The problem with trig, I've taken probably more math classes than both of you combined.
True.
Maybe.
And the only
yes.
and
Higher level,
like,
maybe not more.
Probably more. But like the uses of trigonometry only go so far.
Yeah.
Like and I've seen them all, right? Trigonometry, we've been, grown people, I guess enough. We've been out of high school almost 3 years now.
Yeah.
And outside of math class, like, how often do you ever use trigonometry?
Yeah. I mean, it has.
Then, but if you take trig out and you say, well, what would you substitute it with? How many classes in high school did you learn about things that we actually deal with? Maybe not on a day-to-day basis, but it greatly affects our lives, such as like taxes and how taxes are done, not only from the state level, from the local level, and from the national level, like across the board, or something like what you guys do. You guys are like poli-sci or like global conflicts, like that type of stuff. Like how much of that stuff did you guys learn that's actually being affected, like that affects us here and it affects the entire world, but instead of doing that, you were in class learning about trigonometry.
Well, trig has its low-level purposes in certain, like, crafting things. But again, that's a specialized area.
But then I feel like at the same time, if you're gonna do something like wood shop, for example, you're gonna learn that stuff in wood shop anyway. Or you go to a trade school, or it's simple enough that you learn it on the fly. There are tons and tons and tons of people who did not go to school that ended up making a good living for themselves because they learned how to do things on the fly.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
I would agree.
So, like, I feel like a lot of things should be taught but aren't being taught in favor of things like, I'm picking on trigonometry because I feel like it's very fundamental, but fundamental in something that's very specific.
Well, yeah, I guess it's that same debate. It's like, why do you know what a mitochondria is, but you don't know how to do your taxes?
Exactly. So it's stuff like that. I think, and it's hard to bring this ideal, because I feel like this is definitely ideal, into a practical sense. But what I'd like to see in the future somehow, I don't know how this would work, is you would be able to offer a very extremely wide variety of classes.
Mm-hmm.
So you'd have let the kids basically explore, let them figure out the fundamentals of how to be a person, like how to be a functioning person in the world, and then maybe in your junior senior year of high school, maybe that's when you start to be offered classes like something like a higher level math, where you would learn some of these other things, or like it could be anywhere from math to sciences to to just generalized classes. That way you don't have, little Susie in fucking biology class when she knows that she's going to be an accountant.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't care. She's not going to learn anything from that class because everything she's going to do is to study for the test.
True.
And then apply the stuff to the test, hopefully, for Susie.
Yeah.
And then after that, brain dump. I can't remember, I can't tell you how many times I just learned something for the test and brain dumped when I was in high school.
Yeah. That's not how I see education. Particularly, I see something similar, but not the same. I believe we do need some of those lower area courses like biology and trigonometry, not specifically for the purpose of learning what's in them, but for the purposes of learning in general.
Mm-hmm.
And so, for me, I didn't know I liked certain things until I was in a class about them.
Yeah.
So, and I would never have been in that class unless I was forced to be. So, I feel like we need those bases, but we should be able to expand on them later in the schooling system. I don't believe there should be colleges, honestly. I believe that once you cover that base area in school, then you have the ability to specialize in the area that you like. So me and Chris like the poli-sci history and all that stuff. And so once we figured our base knowledge, we would able to pick our courses to build on that area of our life.
So when you say that you don't believe in like colleges and universities, are you saying that you would prefer something like a trade school or like public schools that expand on that?
So pretty much,
or you just learn like do an apprenticeship type thing.
So like you finish your base area, and then it pretty much is, instead of me having to pay god awful amounts of money to go to a school that could teach me the same thing a high school teacher could teach me.
Mm-hmm.
Not always, depending on.
Right.
But
yeah, I don't think that's true at all.
But then I could just build on those areas in the school I'm already at. And so instead of now expanding my my schooling another 5 years, maybe I can bang it out in 2.
But so that's the problem.
Yeah,
so in a 12-year system, you can't add more. So you're saying, so basically what you're saying is keep college, just put it in with high school. But isn't that the same thing of why have high school? Why not put it in with middle school?
Well,
and then why have middle school? Why not put it in with elementary school? I don't see it
like that as much as I see it like making colleges free.
Yeah, I was gonna say it seems like the socialization of college.
It's a little different than that
first.
From what I'm seeing, because you'd be cutting stuff down the chain, so you'd be getting that base knowledge earlier. Right. So you could start your specialization earlier.
Right. So what I like is I'm not sure if I mentioned this, but the way you said it is like, yeah, you learned about certain things through the classes that you were forced to take. So I feel like in elementary school it was like this, at least for me, where we had science class.
Yeah.
And in science class we would touch on the planets, we'd touch on like the different fucking types of rocks there are. We'd touch
geology
on
is what that's called.
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
We talk a little bit about biology and stuff like that, so that we got a base knowledge of everything. Mm-hmm. And then in middle school, it started to be like, now you're gonna take Earth and Space class, and now you're gonna take biology class, and those are the classes where I feel like they're not needed, especially once you get to the high school level.
Yeah. Because
I feel like by the time you reach 14-ish. For the average person, based on what I've seen as far as like people that I know and just different people that I've observed, and by the time you get to 14, 15, that's when you should be able to start to learn how to become a person that can function into society. Because by the time you graduate, a lot of people aren't taught those skills.
Thrown to the wolves.
Here, like at least here where we are. The only classes that were mandatory that I feel like actually did prepare us are like Algebra 1 and 2, because those are important for just everyday things. and we were forced to take government and economics in senior year.
Yep.
And I feel like those are really the only classes that, outside of pretty much everything else, like, were actually important. Like, I took AP US History, and I don't feel like I learned a whole lot more in that class than I did up until, like, middle school.
Yeah.
It was just a lot more writing. I was writing about things. But once again, I was writing to the points of the test.
Yeah.
Not necessarily to... like, that, and writing to the points of what I think my teacher would like to hear. Not necessarily how I actually viewed everything.
The only, I agree with those. The only other class that I think is necessary that I don't think you'll think is English class. I think
Okay. I mean,
understanding how words work and the meaning behind them that's not necessarily there is an important skill, especially later in life when, say, in politics, I'm just going to throw that out because it's the easiest one. People don't say what they actually mean.
no.
And so you need to be able to understand that.
I think I have an issue with the way that English is taught.
That's
Like, I've got-
acceptable.
Like, I've got, like, my youngest brother, he's 8, and I feel like at that age, I can't speak for all 8-year-olds, but I feel like he is smart enough to get to the point where if I can teach you at 8 the root of a word, like where the word comes from, prefixes and suffixes, so the things before and after the words, if you didn't take English class or didn't pay attention in English class. So if you take the root, prefixes and suffixes, you can pretty much figure out what the rest of the word is going to be.
Yeah.
So I feel like by the time you get to 15, 16 years old, you should be able to know. Like, I shouldn't have to keep quizzing you on that kind of stuff. And that's where I think, like, if you want to be an English lit major, that's when you go and take English lit class. That's when you go and take this, like, poetry and analysis class. Yeah. That's when I feel like it's necessary. I'm not, like, because I think the English language, as much as I hate it, it's necessary for us to know it. It's necessary for us to understand how different words interact with each other, how to conduct sentences, how to express ourselves, not only verbally, but with pen and paper, because a lot of business is done on pen and paper as well.
I want to hear more about how we just shouldn't have college, apparently.
Yeah, I'm interested in that too.
That was a curveball. I was like, what?
Because I feel like if you get the base knowledges out of the way by middle school at least.
But I think
I'd say by the time 10th grade.
Okay.
Yeah, by 10th grade.
Like the base area, so you understand the functionings of all of these areas, and then you can start throwing in, hey, here's maybe this thing you'd like, and get that broad spectrum out there, so people know maybe this is the area they'd like to specialize in,
and then
they get to focus on that throughout high school.
Okay, wait, but see, I think exactly what you're just saying. High school should teach you what you want. So by the end of high school, you should know whether you want to work at McDonald's, or whether you want to be an English scholar, or whether you want to be...
Or you just join the Army.
Well, that's why I said if you want to work at McDonald's, if you want to join the Army, if you want to be a mathematician...
Because...
If you want to learn how to do HVAC, if you want to learn how to rebuild a motor, I think that... I don't agree that there should be no college, I just think that we should stop pushing people to college.
Yeah, I think...
You should realize that a 2-year trade school is great for some people to go learn how to do HVAC, or learn how to be a mechanic. I think that's where the problem lies in, is that for 4 years we teach kids how to pass tests, whether that's state tests or SAT or ACT, to get into college, which is supposed to be the only quote-unquote right path, to then go to college for 4 years and get out and get a job, because a lot of people aren't getting out. Or, I mean... Yeah, I guess I messed up what I was saying there, but they don't get out, as in a lot of kids don't finish even, because they go and they fail and they don't want to be there, and their parents push them to be there. And then secondly, they do get out and they don't get a job because they can't find a job in what they studied, or they're not good at what they studied and they barely got through. So I think where high school is failing is it's just not preparing kids for what they're actually doing.
And that's the issue.
That's the issue
that I brought up.
Yeah.
Is that they're like I was saying, you're not necessarily, at least here, nobody taught you that that like the different forms that you need to fill out your taxes, but I'm sure you know what fucking the law of cosines is.
Yeah.
Like, and
no, I think that's a big thing. I think
like
that
how honestly, like how many times have you used the law of cosines outside of school?
yeah,
Probably
I know
never.
there was a class that taught you like how to balance your checkbook, kind of how to do your taxes, I think, and stuff. Not a lot of people took it because obviously, yeah, you were pushed to take a class that teaches you laws of cosine. I think that you should get out of school with a base knowledge in how to do your taxes, a base knowledge in how to budget,
Or even at least like what
budget your
which
money.
taxes do, how to budget.
Well, exactly, yeah, like, you know, just basic like how to budget your money. I mean, I think there's no reason that something like a home ec class, like a quote unquote home ec class, like where you learn how to cook. I feel like there's people that just don't know how to cook. Like I think like a nutrition class is important. People don't know what good nutrition is. I don't think. I think that you know these things that are real world things, and then a small I'm definitely not in agreement with Fred, but kind of something Fred was saying that I agree in is that pushing you towards specialization, maybe like having something to push you towards like trade opportunities like mechanics and like AC and plumbing and all those things are really good jobs and are viable jobs and actually pay a lot better than people think. Having a way for kids to realize that you don't just have to go to college, and even being somebody who went to college, I don't think college is right for everybody. But just to realize that there's other options. And at the end of the day, there's somebody who's going to graduate high school and work at McDonald's or a McDonald's-like job for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
And I think that we have to realize that because that's a fact now.
Yeah.
But
that's always been a fact. That's
I agree, but I don't think it's been as relevant. I think when you hear about people in previous generations...
Those were jobs. Like that.
No, I don't think that they were jobs. I do think that a lot of people think that McDonald's... In previous generations, McDonald's was really... a teenage job other than maybe managers and some other things. I think that we've lost other jobs. You have to think about our generation to previous generations. We've had far more jobs go to other countries. True. So it used to be realistic to go get a factory job, to work in that factory job for 40, 50 years, whatever, and retire from that factory job. And that factory job paid someone well. That factory job provided you with a pension. Those jobs don't exist as much.
Okay, I thought you were saying that they were pushing more to go into college.
No, not back then. See, okay, I think that was different. I think that previous generations had different opportunities than we do today. I think that there was a way to get a quote unquote like blue collar job or whatever, right. And I think that that's not as relevant anymore. So you do have to get an education, but that education isn't college. Yeah. You have to get an education on something, or accept the fact that people will work at somewhere like McDonald's their whole life because they don't get it, or in a retail job or something like that because they don't get an education. They don't take it farther. So I think that our biggest flaw is that we never changed the system.
Yeah, even though the times are changing.
The times are changing, but we're not changing the systems. And this brings me into, I guess, does anybody want to make a huge point on this at all anywhere? That brings me into my topic that I'm already touching on. I want to talk about today. That was college debt. And I think people unnecessarily going to college and going into tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of debt, getting out and not being able to find a job, moving back in with their parents, not being able to pay their bills, defaulting on their loans. Like, I know people who, wait, let me do quick math, like, didn't pay their college loans back for at least 3-4 years to the point where they're taking money out of their taxes, and, like, I couldn't even imagine that.
Yeah,
like, just that. So I guess that's the thing that do you guys think people should go into debt for college?
Not necessarily, because, like, on the same token, I know a lot of people, I can think of one very specific person that I know who went to a very, very expensive university.
I know who you're talking about.
$17,000 a semester. I don't think you know who I'm talking about.
Oh, maybe I don't.
And he went into the Explorer program because he wasn't properly prepared in high school to know what he was, supposed to know. He was in the Explorer program. If you don't know what that is, it's basically what they put you when you don't know what you want to do.
Can we say what college this was at?
It's at the school that you guys go to.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, I didn't know that. Okay, cool. I thought this was someone different.
Yeah, he went to the school In the Explorer program, it's when they put you where you don't know what you want to do. So it's basically you take all of the Gen Ed stuff.
And you get a year to pick your major.
And they gave him 2 years.
Oh, wow.
So they gave him 2 years. He went there for 2 years, paid $17,000 a semester for 2 years. So that's quick math. That's
a little over 68.
No, that's 70 something, right?
No, that's 68.
60. Okay, $68,000.
15.
Yeah, okay,
60
yeah, right.
plus that extra 2 times 4.
Paid $68,000.
Thought you were better at math than me.
Arithmetic is always my worst subject.
You're right.
But paid $68,000 and ended up having to leave the school and didn't do a single thing.
Yeah.
With the education that he got at this school. He went back home because he moved across the country. Went back home and basically started fresh with his Gen Ed stuff. He got his Gen Ed stuff done, and that was it. And how much money do you think? Like
do you know if he was going into debt doing it?
Yeah,
or if it was,
he was. He was going into debt, and he was also because what he wanted to do is he wanted ROTC to pay for him, but he wasn't going to put in time with ROTC. So the Air Force was basically like, fuck you, we're not paying this money for you if you're not going to come do stuff with us.
Yeah.
So that's just tuition. Like, he also lived on campus and everything.
Oof.
Since he moved in across the country. Like, the school isn't going to let them. The school isn't going to let him live off campus unless he has, family or relative or something like that in the area.
Yeah, that's for sure.
But that's an unfortunate situation that maybe maybe he shouldn't have done that. Maybe if he had, going back to the previous topic, maybe if he had better understanding from school, like from his private school or his public school rather, maybe if he had more information, then he wouldn't have gone through that.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of debt that he went in just to say, I got my Gen Ed stuff out the way.
It's a lot of money.
When a lot of people would prefer to go to community college and then transfer into a bigger university, unless they've got that stigma.
Which I'll say, quote unquote, community college, because I know at least in our state, a lot of community colleges have become state colleges. And I actually don't know where community college is.
No,
the word community college, I have no idea.
I don't think that really exists anymore.
I haven't seen one in a very long time.
Let's say even up in
half a decade,
New York, the community colleges there are now just college.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I don't know. First, I have a quick point to say about arithmetic. Same reason. It's the reason I failed calculus.
Really?
Because I can do it integral, can't add.
This is why I said earlier, I hope your mom doesn't listen to this podcast.
My mom knows I failed calculus.
I'm just kidding.
But
they got FERPA laws, guys. When you go to college, I'm not telling you to lie to your parents, but they got FERPA laws.
FERPA.
They can't tell your parents unless you sign a piece of paper. Yeah. Don't sign that goddamn piece of paper. Everybody listening to this.
And
life
advice. That's for the entire United States, by the way.
It is. That's a government law, so.
I think it's the Federal Education Rights Protection Act.
That's it.
Don't
sign
quote me on that. I think that's what it is.
If you see something that says FERPA, don't sign it. But, so back to the point.
I'm in a similar situation now, and I mean, I don't care about talking about this because
I don't think you're in the same situation as this guy.
No, not that, but
yeah,
a high debt situation.
You're in a high debt situation now.
So, I'll throw a number out here: $82,000.
Mm-hmm.
In a degree that I don't necessarily want to be in, but I'm in because it is a place that I like. So, what I want to do in my life is what we're doing now.
Yeah. In
this area, in games and video and entertainment. Like, that's where I want to be.
You didn't go to the video production campus?
No.
No?
No.
Do they have it?
No.
I don't think so.
And I was...
They'd be very specific for this college or this university.
And I was pushed originally to go into a degree that I didn't want to do.
Were you pushed?
I thought you wanted to.
Yeah, I thought you wanted it. The whole time I thought you wanted it.
Because
you just didn't.
I felt like even up to 3 months ago, due to other things, you liked some of that stuff, I'm not going to lie.
Well, I do like some of that stuff, but that wasn't what I wanted to be in, and I was pushed to go into that degree.
By who?
By, my mom, honestly.
Okay.
But
I was gonna say you can just mouth it to me.
Yeah.
I don't care.
She wasn't trying to, but she wanted to make sure I was doing something that she thought could get me a job.
I was gonna say, because
Right.
knowing you since high school, the things you did in high school were not relevant to your degree, I would say.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm wondering what pushed you into it. Because me and Farrah, you could say, did some things relevant in high school to the degrees we pursued.
No, I think everything that I did.
Yeah, it was relevant.
I think everything.
So, and a lot of
that's
the
why-
things I did when I went to school, were relevant. So, me and Farrah pursuing what we pursued made sense. You pursuing what you pursued, I figured was out of pure 100% interest, I would have thought.
So, the reason I went to the school I went to is out of the interest because I love planes.
Mm-hmm.
And I go to an aeronautical school. And
Did you really go to that school? Because of aeronautics?
But there's a specific reason. Because of the degree I was getting told that I should do, because I had a general interest in technology, which then, I guess, transfers to a computer engineering degree. Not really.
Man,
But
oh man,
I then wanted to relate that to planes, because I liked planes.
mm-hmm.
But to find out that I don't actually like planes that much.
Wow, I feel like we're learning a lot about Fred right now.
Yeah, we learned that he prefers wings over steak.
That was
Hold on. Let's talk about that.
No,
Because-
can he finish
no,
this
no,
thought
no.
real quick?
No. Because we didn't go into this earlier. I need to go into this
No,
now.
Fred, finish your thought.
No, it's fine. Go.
No, finish your thought. I mean, you're on a real
I can
serious
come
note.
back.
You're on a real serious note here. Finish your thought process.
I don't
Keep
even
going.
know where I was going at that point.
You're
I'm already-
82 grand in debt. You went into a degree you hated.
Oh, yeah. And so then, now, being in the stigma that I need to finish a degree,
Right.
specifically for the reasons I was pushed to go to school, and now for this large-ass number looming above my head, I had to go to something that I knew I actually could like. And that's where I'm at now, in a degree that I do like, but it's still not what I want to do, because what I want to do still doesn't have a degree. There's no degree in YouTubing.
Yeah, there is video production.
Not-
Like
not
I said,
here,
there's a
but-
degree in
Well,
video production.
yes, but, like... Still.
Yeah, there's clearly a degree
Yeah,
in video production.
But that's not even like. That's one of those things where like, and this is a different topic. I think you can probably learn literally everything you need to know about video production on the internet
Oh yeah, of course.
for free.
And that's why I'm
for
not...
free.
But isn't that the old adage? I mean, if you read enough books, you could learn anything you could learn in school.
Yeah, but then it turns into a different thing where a lot of places require that piece of paper that says that you know what you're doing.
Yeah, so I think
If you've
that
got self-taught knowledge, you're not going to have that piece of paper.
so for Fred saying something like this, if he wants to pursue his interests this way, yeah, he doesn't need a degree for it. But if you wanted to pursue these interests in a more formal setting, you have to go to a degree just like anything else. Because any degree you could teach yourself.
Yeah.
You just don't have proof that you are as capable as that person who went to a college for 4 years.
The only problem with that too is that if somebody, I'm not gonna speak on for video, but I can say that a lot of places that I've seen, just looking around, they'll take experience over school a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So like if somebody's been working in the games industry and has put out 3 games in 4 years and they know what they're doing, they're a good programmer, like the art looks nice, the marketing looks good, like everything around the game looks nice, they'll take that person over the person who went and learned how to go and got a general game design or game development degree. But that's where like something like the arts, where like video production, if you've been on a set for a long time,
Yeah.
and then you go and apply for somewhere else, like they're probably going to take you over the guy who just got out of film theory class.
Yeah.
So like and that's where it comes in. But like with computer engineering, I can't think of a firm that would take somebody without a degree.
Yeah.
Like that to me, at least, coming from a background of engineering and stuff like that, that sounds unfathomable. That a firm would take somebody without a degree.
Yeah.
It's probably illegal.
Probably, yeah.
It's not illegal.
Because I know there's a lot of things. There's a lot of a lot of people don't know this. there is such thing as a professional engineer.
Yeah.
Just because you go to school and you have a degree, from an engineering university, you've got your computer engineering degree.
Engineer.
You cannot say that you're a professional engineer until you take an independent exam, which I think it's I don't remember what it's called, but
We got a whole big lecture on it.
yeah, there's a whole big lecture on it that you've heard if you've ever been to if you've ever been in an engineering program, a post-secondary engineering program. But there's a whole nother exam that you still have to pass after the fact, after you get your degree. And so that's another thing where that's another piece of paper after you already spent all this time, getting all this debt, saying, I know what I'm doing, I promise.
Yeah.
But where were you going with the debt, Chris?
Want to go one point. I don't blame my mom for the way that she pushed me to go into it. Not at all. Because I understand completely where she was coming from. And it was just
engineering is going to make you some money.
Yeah.
And you say you don't hate it, right? Okay, yeah, you're going to go and let's do that.
So, just wanted to throw that out there.
I was just talking about, I guess, just is it worth it for a lot of people? Like, is it the wrong decision that a majority of Americans are making every year right now?
Right.
To decide to go, at what level is it acceptable? At what level, is 10 grand a year cool? Is 20 grand a year cool? Is 30 grand a year cool? Is 40 grand a year cool? Having gone to an aviation school, we know people who went 40, 50 grand a year easy into that. So 40 okay? Is 60 okay? Is when you're done having 40 total or 60 total or 80 total or 110 total or 120 total? What is, acceptable? What is worth it? Is it... Should we be pushing people to do this? Like we talked about earlier, people are being pushed into college as the only option, either by their parents or by their teachers or by their peers, as there's no other way to do this other than you got to go to school. Is that right? Should banks even be giving 19-year-old kids $20,000 a year loans, $30,000 a year loans, $40,000 a year loans? Is that setting people up for failure?
I feel like as far as the banks are concerned, that's their business, because I am very much a capitalist in that if they feel like they're going to make their money back, then go ahead, by all means do it. But on the same token, the children or the kids that are taking out their first loans and stuff like that, they need to know why they're doing it. They need to know what the repercussions of doing it is. And it's not necessarily up to the bank to provide that information.
So I guess we talked about high school earlier and all these things it teaches you. Did anybody really in high school learn that, here's the ramifications of taking out 10 grand a year. Here's the ramifications of taking out 20 grand a year. Or are they just go to college, pay for it however you got to pay for it. Kids aren't sat down by anybody, by teachers, by banks.
I feel like
and explain this. By the colleges themselves.
I feel like at least where we went to school, the guidance counselor mainly took care of that.
Yeah.
But that's not something that I was necessarily worried. I wasn't worried about how I was going to pay for school when I was leaving high school, because all of that was taken care of for me. But I'd love to hear what you guys.
I want to say something because I knew at that point. I knew I was going to where we go.
Going to.
Yeah. And I knew how much that was going to be, and I knew the amount of money I had. Our guidance counselor pushed me to get loans.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah?
And she told us where I got my first loan, which I then maxed out after a year and a half, and then had to get a second one. And now I'm at the point where I have so much debt that I can't get a loan to finish my last year. So, I mean, again, another thing that just... It makes no sense to me that they told me that was going to be my smart idea.
Right, that was going to be your best bet. Because,
And now I can't even finish my degree at the school that I started at because of this. Because I have a year left, and now I have such a high debt rate that nobody wants to give me that last...
The last little bit to get you over the hump.
Yeah, so...
And I feel like that's due to a lack of education, at the base level. I feel like all of this starts off at the base level because because the schools that we're talking about, they're public schools.
Yeah.
I feel like they should be there to serve the public, right? We're not talking about private schools. Private schools, you can do whatever the fuck you want to do, as long as you've got somebody willing to pay for the education.
Yeah.
You should offer that education. But at the same time, the public schools are there. I feel they should be there anyway, to prepare the people going through those for the next stage of life.
Yep.
Whether that be to go to college or to go to a trade school or to work at a
labor
McDonald's,
job.
or work construction for the rest of your life, or the military, like anything like that. Like schools should have places like those. Maybe in different areas of the country they have better systems.
Yeah.
But like we know people from all over this country and all over the world, and people from like around this area have the same, I feel like, base education level as people from Wisconsin or as like California or anywhere else. Like I'm not seeing drastic leaps and bounds in the base knowledge of what everybody should know, at least countrywide.
Well, that was the 2 Creditcast. Each week, 3 dudes, each bring a topic of discussion and see where it takes us.
See you guys later.